Hi everyone, my name is Michelle. This is my channel where I am documenting my journey with stage 4 metastatic triple-negative breast cancer, as well as adrenal insufficiency and anything else I find interesting. So welcome. This is my video update for July 13th, 2026, and this is after Trodelvy cycle number 6. Now on Trodelvy, I am on 75% of the starting dose. That's since week 1. I had a reaction in week 1 that caused them to have to add an extra pre-med, but also I did not get to do the second infusion during cycle number 1 because I did not recover very quickly. My absolute neutrophil count when I got to day 8 was too low to have the second infusion. And so we reduced my dose to 75% at that time, and that's where I remain. This cycle number 6, we were back to the day 1 and day 8 of the 21-day cycle. And so last month, because I had a few events happen that caused me to skip a week here and there, it was spaced out a lot more and I had much less side effects. This time we went back to the day 1, day 8, and then 1 week off. And the side effects were much worse again. So my N=1 study confirmed my data that if we go on the standard cycle of day 1 and day 8, 2 weeks back to back, and then a week off, the side effects are much more profound and intrusive. So what side effects did I have? I had diarrhea. GI side effects were worse again, stomach cramping, diarrhea, and the fatigue, of course. The fatigue was there even before, but the fatigue was profound. The word fatigue doesn't even really scratch the surface of what this level of tiredness is. So fatigue is there, GI, diarrhea, to a point where I actually was taking the Lomotil anti-diarrheal medication, which I have not needed to take pretty much since the first cycle. So that was back in the forefront again, where pretty much for a week almost, I was not really wanting to leave the house for very long. I would go to my doctor's appointments, I'd take the medication, go to the doctor's appointments, but really wasn't able to do anything else in life. So days 11 through 16 were the days that I was affected, not only by the diarrhea, but the bone pain, which they say is caused by the Neulasta. So on day 9, after the day after the second infusion, I have that Neulasta pod on my arm, and it gives an injection or an infusion, and then that boosts your immune system to create new blood cells. And so that happens in your bone marrow, and as the bone marrow expands, it can cause bone pain. And I find it very curious that the GI side effects coincide with the bone pain every time. So I asked the question, could it be the Neulasta causing this diarrhea, this stomach spasming? And they say, no, we don't have that listed as a potential side effect. And I'm like, but isn't it curious that it's the same exact days as the bone pain? So I do think that there's something there. I don't necessarily believe in coincidences, so we'll see. So this cycle, again, cycle number 6, did confirm that the GI side effects are worse when we have the 2 weeks on, 1 week off. And the week off is the worst week, by the way. That's when it all kind of hits you at once. They say it's just cumulative from having 2 in a row of the chemo, and it's the chemo that's causing the GI, but whatever. I have gotten better, I think, at managing the side effects and kind of sticking to my plan with steroids. I should say managing the steroids, but my taper of steroids. So I still did the 8 milligrams of dexamethasone on infusion day, going down to 6 for the next 3 days, and then 4, and then pretty quickly I went down to 2, and then switched back to hydrocortisone the second week, not the first week, because that took the full 7 days, and then we started again. I think I'm doing better anyway at managing that taper. I would like to do that faster, but I didn't do that this time, especially having those side effects. Trying to taper steroids too quickly would have caused me to crash adrenal crisis type crash. So we avoided that. I did have to cut back on some of my supplements as well. I ran out and I didn't have the money to purchase them again for a bit. So that also may have affected how long I had some, or well, I wouldn't really say that, but it could have affected how quickly I recovered, or how easily I managed the GI stuff. So, that could have had something to do with it as well. But I did have, I just stretched them out more. I took less of certain supplements during that time, and then by the time I ran out, I think we were kind of past the hump anyway. And I think I've gotten everything again. So the supplements that I do take to help support GI, of course, electrolytes, staying hydrated is very important. Element is my preferred electrolyte. I love these. I like the raw unflavored version. It's just sodium, magnesium, and potassium. And especially on hot days, I mean, the heat definitely here in the Northeast has affected me and made me feel better or worse, depending on how that is. But Element is, again, my favorite electrolyte. If I do have a referral code, I'm not an affiliate or anything with them, but I do have a referral code that I always post in the videos, just because I have a subscription, and so I have a kind of friends and family link. If you want to try Element, if you make a purchase, you can get their free sample pack and kind of try their flavors. So that will be there. In addition to electrolytes, L-glutamine powder is definitely the biggest one that I use during the GI days, and the sun fiber. So L-glutamine powder, sun fiber, zinc carnosine, the Rocasa Organics liver support, Bloom colostrum and collagen, which I was not taking every day. That was one that I ran out of. Similase sensitive stomach digestive enzymes, we ran out of that for a couple of days. A probiotic, and the glutamine powder was the other one I ran out of. I did try to eat more fiber. Like I had like a salad, which I haven't really had salads very much lately, and I don't know, I craved it. I actually thought that would be really good, so I had a salad. I blew up very bloated. That caused more discomfort. It tasted good, but that didn't help as much as just putting the amino acid, the L-glutamine in there, really kind of is most soothing to the gut, as well as the sun fiber, which kind of keeps things better. All right, the other side effect that I was dealing with was lymphedema, and so you can kind of see the difference in my hands. This hand has had lymphedema for a few years now, as you've known if you've followed any of the other videos. I do go to physical therapy. I get massage, lymphatic drainage massage. I have a pneumatic pump at home. I have used K-tape. I got a vibration plate. I do detox, kind of foot soaks and baths and masks, and used castor oil almost daily, if not daily, castor oil packs. And I think the liver support actually kind of helps with helping things filter out of the body. But I basically, at the end of May, overnight, gained 10 pounds in fluid. In my arm mainly, but in other areas of my body too. I did notice my ankles swelled a little bit, and I feel like I have like some truncal lymphedema around the midsection as well, because it kind of feels heavy. So that happened, and it was measurable. I went to physical therapy. I gained 2 centimeters in certain spots of my arm all the way up. Or 2 centimeters, whatever. I think it was 2 centimeters in certain spots of my arm. It was really profound. They use a machine called a Sozo, where they actually have you stand there and it sends some sort of electrical signal through your body, and it measures the amount of fluid, and mine was trending down toward normal in the green kind of part of the graph, and then again overnight it shot up into the red. So there was a measurable change in the amount of lymph fluid. They sent me for an ultrasound of my arm to check for blood clots, an ultrasound of my axilla to check for any kind of blockage in the lymph node area where I had the surgery. and subsequently I've had a chest x-ray and a CAT scan, a PET scan. So they haven't found any particular reason for this kind of overnight expansion of lymphedema, but it certainly is something I've been dealing with as well during the last month. So that was not helped by having 2 treatments. It swelled up each time, so that's something we're still dealing with. But there's some days where it's better and some days where it's where I can kind of make a fist today. I can touch my fingers to my hand, we'll say. I can't make a really tight fist without it hurting and feeling like the skin is going to split. But it gets better and it gets worse. And I'm sitting outside in the heat right now, and when I go in later, I'll probably put a cool, maybe an ice pack on it or something to kind of cool it down, or maybe I'll float in the pool later. Which also can be helpful. So that's kind of all of the things that I've been dealing with side effects. Now going forward, I did have a PET scan. And so the PET scan shows that the Trodelvy is working. The PET scan shows that they're not able to see any hypermetabolic activity in the liver. And I had multiple lesions in the liver that they could see not only on the first PET scan before we started, but on the last PET scan in April. They were less, but they were smaller, but still visible. And still there was some activity there. And now those areas of my liver are not showing any hypermetabolic activity, which means either the tumors have shrunk to nothing or the cancer is not active. It's not actively taking up the radioactive glucose in the PET scan. The bones, they are not able to really definitively say. What it says on the report, and I'll post it after this, but what it says is that there was heterogeneous bone marrow uptake, which obscures the view of the osseous lesions, which are the bone lesions where the cancer was. Now, I had identifiable hypermetabolic activity on my first PET scan before we started at T12, L3, L1, and the left sacrum. And those are not visible, but they say they're not visible potentially due to the bone marrow regenerating, basically, my immune system. It's thick, it's obscuring the view of the bone, so they can't visualize everything, but they don't see any obvious cancer lesions. So the Trodelvy is working, and that means we will be continuing with Trodelvy. That also means that because it has responded so well, my oncologist has agreed to go to an every other week schedule. So that is my plan. Starting this coming Thursday, I will have day 1, and then we will have day 15, and I will not have to get the Neulasta injection because I have 2 weeks in between infusions. So that is the plan for now. We are going forward with Trodelvy. It's working. I'm stage 4, so I'm always going to be in some sort of treatment. There's no cure. There's no end to chemo. You don't do it for this amount of time and then you're done. If it's working, you keep doing it. So that's the plan for now, and that staying hydrated, staying cool, hopefully replenishing my supplements, and focusing on the good things. Like, that's the whole secret to life, is focusing on the good things. So have a great week. Don't get caught out in the heat when it's super hot and poor air quality, which is tomorrow. Today the air quality is quite nice. It's not too humid. It's sunny. It's like, I don't even know what the temperature is. It's like 81 degrees. It's nice and comfortable outside right now. But tomorrow it's going to be hot and oppressive again. So stay cool, enjoy your week and your summer. I will probably update you again after this week's infusion. And I have a few videos that I've actually have a few videos I've recorded, I just haven't edited yet, that are just not update related, but about other things. So hopefully I'll get to editing and posting some of those if I have some more energy this week than I have in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Have a great one. Bye.